It's opposite day today because we'll be doing the exact opposite of what we've been doing for the past few lessons. We will be doing factorizing, which is simply the opposite of multiplying. Those that apply to numbers would apply to algebraic expressions as well. So what we want to do would be to find that highest common factor when we've got a certain expression, okay? For example, let's probably go to this one here. For example, when we have 5x plus 15y, we look at each of the terms, right? So again, we said that the term would be separated by a plus or minus. So this is one term, that's another term, right? So that we want to look for the highest common factor, the factor that's common to both 5x and 15y, right? Which is the highest one, right? So with this one, you could also do numbers first, then letters, just like what we learned from Maths Online, right? When we were expanding them. So numbers first, then letters. So you could probably look for the highest common factor of 5 and 15. So what are the factors of 5? 5 is a good number because it's a prime number. When they're prime, you only have one set or one pair of factors, right? It's 1 and itself, it's 1 and 5. So there's pretty much no other choices we can find, right? When we've got limited choices, then it's easier to make our decisions, right? So we've got 1 and 5 for 5, and then 15, we've got what? We'll write them down here. 15, that's 1 and 15, can't be 2. It can be 3. 3 times 5 can't be 4. Can be 5, but then that's already this pair, right? So those are the factors of 15. So when you have 5, it's only 1 and 5. And what would be the common factor of 15 and 5? It's what? 5, right? And it's the highest one as well. Sometimes you've got 2 common factors, but you want to figure out what would be the highest one. Okay, so in this case, your highest common factor would be 5, right? When you look at the letters now, because we said numbers first, then letters. So let's have a look at the letters. You've got X, you've got Y. Are there any common factors of X and Y other than 1? None, right? So the only common factor would actually be just a number, which is 5, okay? So then you've got 5 as your highest common factor. What did you multiply to 5 to get 5x? X, right? Because 5 times x gives you 5x, yeah? And then what did you multiply to 5 to get 15y? It would be 5 times something gives you 15y. 3y, thank you. So then you have, I'm just annoyed with that. Sorry, got to get rid of that. Okay, so then you've got 5 times x plus 3y, right? So this now is the factored form or factorized form. That's actually the answer that we were looking for before, right? In the previous lessons. So this was the question before. This was the answer before, but this time, because it's opposite day, just like what I told you in the beginning, this now is our question. This is now our answer. Okay, so that's the relationship between your expanding brackets and also your factorizing. Okay, so it's the reverse. Just like when you have a plus, the inverse of that would be minus. When you have a times, the inverse of that would be dividing, right? So that's our first example there. How about example B? Now, usually the questions they ask you would be the ones that would have a negative, okay? Because sometimes it's just a bit tricky, right? And because it says its highest common factor, and when they tell you you have to factor out the negative, then you'd say, well, but that's not a highest common factor because it's a negative number, right? But in this case, right? You want the highest common factor, just the magnitude. But if it starts with a negative, all right, not even if both of them would be negative, if it starts with a negative, you have to factor out that negative, okay? Just like with this one, you've got negative 14xy minus 7y. You would need to write down as your highest common factor, whatever that is, it should be negative, okay? Now, again, numbers first, then letters. You've got 14 and 7. The highest common factor of 14 and 7 would be, so now you've got 7 there. What did you multiply to negative 7 to get negative 14xy? It would be, hang on, we did the numbers, but we didn't do the letters, did we? Right, so we look at xy and y. The common factor would be y, because y is in the first term and also on the second one, right? So then we've got negative 7y. That's multiplied to what? What did you multiply to negative 7y to get negative 14xy? 2x, thank you. So we've got 2x. Now, this one's a tricky bit. You've got negative 7y. Look at this one here and change that color. You've got negative 7y, right? What did you multiply to negative 7y to get negative 7y? Negative 7y becomes itself. What do you multiply to that? 1, yes. So the only number that you can multiply to negative 7y so it doesn't change its number or its value is 1, multiplying it by 1. So you've got 2x plus 1 here. Okay, let's have a look at question C. We've got 6x squared y plus 9xy squared. Okay, so again, numbers first and then letters. We've got 6 and 9. What are the factors of 6 and 9? 3. Yes, thank you. So then you've got 3 as your highest common factor for the numbers. Now let's have a look at the letters. You've got here x squared y, and here it's x y squared, right? The one that's squared on the first one would be x, but there's only one x here. So you only grab the one that's common. There's only one common x, and therefore you just need to grab one of them. Have a look at the y. You've got only one y here, and you've got 2 y's on the second, yeah? So the only one that's common to both would just be one y, and therefore that's your highest common factor. Now we've got 3xy, that's our highest common factor. What did we multiply to 3xy to get 6x squared y? 2x, thank you, right? And then how about the next one? 3y, yeah? Because then x would be there already, yeah, thank you. So you've got 3y there, okay? And those are our examples. Like I've put there a link, what you can do during those 5-10 minute break, okay? Do some stretching, walk, play with your dog. And don't forget to smile. Stay safe. Bye.